All right, HeatSpring community, we are here with Keven Gambold. He is an instructor for several of our drone courses on HeatSpring. And today he's going to answer the question for us, what is the quickest and cheapest way to get started using drones commercially?
I think this question is the one that gets to the heart of anybody that's in a professional organization, or a profession, and they want to expand into this new tech area is one of them. But it is pretty daunting, and especially when people start talking about that you need a federal license and you need to be a commercial operator, and you're like, oh, good Lord, no, I'm not bothering. So the key is it is. The FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, who run all the airspace on the planet from Boeing 767s through to tiny little drones, took 9 years to come up with a rule, and it's ridiculous. The rule is, and it's ridiculous in a good way, in that it's not difficult. It's a real easy step, but it's just the whole concept behind, wow, I've got to get these licenses. I've got to, and these things look expensive and they look dangerous, and there's whirling metal blades and, death and plastic and who knows what. And they're not cheap. You can get a one for $1,000, $500 maybe even, or I've got ones sat next door that are worth $9,000. I have one in a case. The aircraft itself is 20 grand. The camera is 20 grand. All right. So it can be ridiculous. So the answer is, how do you get through all of that? How do you, go out, do an inspection, do a mapping job, and all this? And the answer is, it's actually really, really easy. So the first thing is, to do it legally, you have to have a commercial small UAS license, small unmanned aircraft system license. It's called a Part 107. It's based on the Federal Aviation Regulation 14 CFR Part 107. That's all. So if you wanted to be a pilot in a Cessna, you would follow a Part 91 rule, and that was all the tests and everything you need to take, and then you get your solo and you get your license. Well, so the Part 107 is way easier than all of that. It is basically a 90-minute multiple question test on a computer in a sort of an FAA registered office. There's one near you, there's one in the local flying club nearby. You register it, you pay $150, and you take this test. You got to get like 70%. And in that test, there is things like weather and operating limits and airspace and can you be drunk when you're flying these things, and all these, and much of it is common sense. But there's some stuff, if you're not an aviator, like, what class of airspace are we in right now? What is the height of this tower on this map? So you do need to take a course, and you can take any course. You can buy books, you could go online, you can go sit in a classroom. We've done all of these various different types of classes. We are kind of happy, very happy about this latest iteration, which is the HeatSpring class. It's called the Drone Boot Camp, and it's in 2 parts. And that's kind of the thing we're really excited about. So the first part is literally, it's about 20 hours. It sounds like a lot, but you churn through it. It's lots of practice tests, a lot of practice test taking in these things, because that's what you need. It'll teach you all about the weather, teach you all about the rules in the Part 107, teach you all about how to handle the aircraft. You can become a commercial pilot by taking this test without ever having bought a drone, seen a drone, been in the same room as a drone. That's the redonkulousness of the Part 107. You can be a commercial license with a little driving license type thing, and all you need to do is pass this test. So I would suggest you sign on, you take the first part of this course, you take all these practice tests, you go down to your local flying club, you take this exam, boom, you're done. Absolutely done. They give you a piece of paper and you can go out flying the next day. The second part of the course, another sort of 20 hours, is designed to make you make money. That's the key. So having this license means you're legal. But making money means you have the right equipment. You can approach the client. You can say the words that the client wants to hear. You can then fly the equipment, take the pictures or the image or whatever you're doing, the mapping program, produce a report, hand it to the client, take the check, go woohoo, and do it again. All right. So that's what the second part is. In about another 20 hours, there's simulator practice. There's so you get the whole hands-on throttle and stick, it's all muscle memory. And the crazy thing is now the highest end drones, I mean, the ones that have all encompassing sensing, see and avoid, auto mapping, all of that sort of stuff, used to cost, the first set of drones that did that were $120,000. I mean, I never bought a car that's been that expensive. I have houses that are cheaper than that. And we had like 3 of these things. That was 8-10 years ago. Now, $1,000, $1,500, and yet with a press of a couple of buttons, we'll map an entire field to like 2 centimeter accuracy and spit all of that imagery into a software program, which will throw out a 3D map for you. And you're almost just pressing buttons. I mean, literally, you could take a map on your phone, a smartphone, and you just go, I want that area mapped at that accuracy, go, and it will just take off. And it's insane. You did that 2 years ago, I'd have been like, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's just, that's just advertising. Now, I did it last week, Admittedly, the drone's like $6,000, and it's still not as good as the DJI ones because the cameras on the DJI ones are insanely good. So that's it. You take the HeatSpring course, you get your 107 license, and then my suggestion is you take the second part of the course. It's all included. Take the second part of the course. You can cherry pick it, but it gives you advice on which drones you probably want to buy. You Google it. Just that changes every. It's like buying a laptop. So these things improve their safety, their capabilities. You wait 6 months, they're insane. So that's the short answer. Now, there are, people are like, well, what about insurance? What about clearances for flights and all this sort of stuff? Well, believe it or not, we spent, I'm not kidding, I hate to say this, $80,000 one year on insurance. We were a big company doing commercial enterprises, $20 million worth of coverage, doing bridge inspections, power lines, power stations. You need all that, okay? You don't need that. I have an app on my phone. There are many of them. And the one I use is called Verifly, but there are many of them. And you literally just click on it. You draw the same little map. You say, I'm flying for the next hour. I want $1 million worth of coverage. Boom. Now it's liability coverage. It doesn't cover the drone itself. And you would have to get separate hull, it's called hull insurance for that. But, you spend a couple $100, you'd probably be all right. Some of the DJI ones come with like a replacement warranty out the box, right? So, yeah. Insurance, bang, $10 for an hour. Let's go. Not kidding. For understanding, you already took the course as to where your airspace was good, but you're not really sure, and you're out in the Bondu. There's called a LANC, LAANC, low altitude authorization notification sensor. You'll learn about this, but it's another app. I use one called AirMap. There are like 20 out there, and you literally just click on AirMap. I do the same thing, and I go, I'm flying for the next hour. It tells me the weather. It tells me the checklist. It says, did you do this? Did you screw the rotors on? Have you checked the weather? Have you looked at this? All right, you are cleared to fly, or you are not cleared to fly because the airspace is wrong, or you wanted to go to 400 feet, and actually you're only allowed 200 feet in this bit of airspace, and you're like, bonehead, I should have spotted that. Dude, boom. So, and I do both of those things stuck in traffic on my way to the fly site. All right. It's it's insane. I was getting permission from local airfields 6 weeks out in advance, not 5 years ago. So this is, we're in a really good place. So with the license, with a drone, with a bit of practice, you don't want to look like a clown in front of the client. He's bound to come out and ask you what you're doing, his wife's going to bring the kids over and they're going to go, oh, let's see, you don't want to go, I think this is what makes it go up. So, but you can get insurance, you can get authorization, all on a smartphone. Just charge the damn thing before you get out there. So that's it. Cheap and easy.